Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. We are still very much in the thick of our botanical and floral and spring videos. And then I remembered inside the UV resin starter kit, now we're not going to be predominantly using UV resin in this video, but I remembered that the kit comes with these. I rarely use flowers on my channel, but these are super fine, delicate, detailed, teeny tiny pressed dried flowers that come in the UV resin kit. Now I've already done an unboxing of this kit. There's so much in this kit. If you are thinking about UV resin, this is the one. This all came inside. Now I'm not going to be using it all in today's video, but I will be using the necklace ropes that came with it, also the earring attachments. There's also some chunky keychains that came as part of this kit as well, including your blue tape, all of that jazz. However, this box is going off to one side because we are only using the beautiful flowers and this pendant mold for today's video. Now, first up, as soon as I introduce a silicone mold to my desk, like it's static and it just attracts all of the dust. So I do always go in with some sellotape to clean off the surfaces before I use them if I see that debris has gone and got stuck to it. Now in this video, I will also be using the Let's Resin Fast Cure Resin. This is their 4-hour cure and 8 to 10 hour fully set and demoldable, etc, etc. Now this video is fully sponsored by Let's Resin, so everything you see me use in this video is Let's Resin, and it will all be linked in the description box below, so go get yourself some if you fancy having a play. These flowers though, how delicate are they? I'm so nervous when it comes to using flowers like this. They are super paper thin and I am using my tweezers to be able to get them out of the container and down into my mold. Now again, I'm not using every segment in this mold. I'm just using these teardrop pendants and the real sharp cornered rectangular, what shape is it guys? Prism, like I think it's like a trapezium or a prism type shape. Yeah, I'm using these two because these were the two that were really screaming out to me as having the most impactful result when it comes to using these flowers. Now I'm just, like I said, using my tweezers to individually place down these flowers and some of those tiny teeny little fern leaves. How you do this is entirely up to you, but again, I rarely use flowers in my videos, and I really feel like when the sun is shining and the birds, oh my gosh guys, the birds are singing like crazy right now. It just puts me in the mood to use more and more flowers. So I'm really hoping that this spring season, I'm going to use a lot more flowers on my channel. And yeah, I should really be growing some as well to see if I can do my own flower pressing, but hey, we've got these. They are delicate. They are stunning. I'm trying to use, but I'm not dedicated to it. I'm trying to use similar flowers in each of the molds. So each, like the pairs will be matching. Equally, I won't be sad if they're not 100% matching because you're never going to get that when you use natural materials and flowers and leaves from nature. But yeah, a little bit fiddly, but we got there in the end with the help of my finger, just helping to press it down into the mold. I'm simply creating my patterns using the flower. I did add a little bit more to the teardrop molds, and quite honestly right now these are reminding me of like an interflora bunch of flowers that you would get for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day or a special occasion. Combined with the leaves, they all just look so beautiful. And I've gone back to this one to add a little bit of pink in there as well. Now when it comes to the Let's Resin Fast Cure Resin, I have put both parts A and B into a hot bath. Now, I usually only put one part because I don't want it to cure up. I don't want it to go exothermic and cure too fast. However, the Fast Cure Resin, it definitely holds more bubbles. And this is across the board, not just Let's Resin. Fast Cure Resin does generally hold more bubbles because it's a really thick viscosity. Like it's a real thick resin. So anything you can do to minimize those bubbles is great, and that includes a heat mat and or a hot bath. You can see here after 10 minutes in a hot bath, I do still have some bubbles, and that's okay. We are just going to use our lighter to try and get rid of as many bubbles as possible. The alternative would then be to let your resin, once you've mixed it, let your resin sit for 5 to 10 minutes before pouring, allowing those bubbles to surface and get rid of as many as you can. Now, I've poured in my clear, but I really want to play with some of the Let's Resin mica powder, and I'm using this beautiful green. To me, this green screams of gardens. It screams of spring. It screams of that time of year where you're just starting to plant. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I don't. When you're just starting to plant your bulbs and plant your seeds and your flowers and all of that jazz. And it's got this absolutely gorgeous, almost two-tone feel to it as well. Now, when I've placed my resin down, of course, resin does what resin does, and it moved all of my flowers and my leaves up and in to the pendants. So I'm just using my cocktail stick to pull them back down where they belong before I add my green. I'm going to fill these pendants right to the very top with this green mica powder. Now, the beautiful thing about fast cure resin is that because it is thick, because it is really, really gloopy, it doesn't travel. It doesn't meld and mesh together as much as a thin viscosity resin would. So, whilst I'm pouring the green from the top and it's flowing down, I know that it's not going to dominate. It's not going to take over, because the reality of a fast cure resin is that it doesn't have much time. It doesn't have much time to cure, like to move around and meld and cure up. It's going to cure up a lot faster, which means my clear areas are going to stay clear. Quite often, if you were to use a much runnier 24-hour resin, that includes Let's Resin, a 24-hour cure resin has a lot more time. It has more time to introduce itself to that clear section, and therefore you run the risk of it taking over that clear section, which is why I predominantly went with the fast cure. But how gorgeous are these colors together? It makes me want to know more about gardening, but guys, I don't have a green thumb, and that's a tragedy in my life. Sometimes people message me and they're like, is there anything you can't do? I'm like, yeah, keep plants alive, okay? Keep plants alive, and flowers for that matter. But I did just plant some tulips and they are growing, so yay me. This is what they are looking like. I love them. They remind me of miniature gardens, very, very floral and botanical. The green, the clouds in that mica are stunning. They definitely add to the effect of these, and they truly do look like miniature gardens or terrariums. Is that the right word? I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. You know me, guys. I generally don't. But yeah, they do look like miniature terrariums. I think they are super pretty and delicate. And I love the clouds. I love the clouds that have been formed by that mica. Now, here's the thing. Because I placed my dry flowers down into the mold and I poured resin on top, being a thick resin, it didn't necessarily get in and under the flowers like I would have liked it to. So on this one, for example, you can see those 3 holes. Now, it's not an issue. I planned to top coat these anyway to give them a wow impact. So that is not an issue for me today. And it didn't even happen on the other one. It just happened on one of them. So you know what? It does its own thing sometimes, resin does. Now, to top coat them, I am using the Let's Resin UV Resin, which is the UV resin I use all of the time. Anyway, I absolutely love this stuff. And just go slow. When it comes to top coating, go slowly. And similar to previous videos, these molds have holes in them for your earring attachments. I'm covering them up. I haven't got the time nor patience or will to go around those slowly. So I am covering them up. And the reason I'm not worried about that too much is that the holes are so small that it's not going to destroy the bases of my pieces. I'm just simply going to pour my UV resin on top, use a cocktail stick to very, very, very slowly tease that UV resin to the edges of your piece and go slow. If you go slow and your surface is flat, that resin will not travel off of the edge of your piece. There's loads of reasons why it would, and that's if you pour too much, or we've all been there. I've recently been there myself. If you pour too much, it will. If you pour too fast, it will. And if your surfaces are uneven, it will. But guys, look at these. That is a wow for me. That is a wow result. Just giving them that stunning domed top coat not only magnifies everything underneath, but it just brings them to life and it gives them an extra something something. These are going to go under the Let's Resin UV light. Now this is the double-sided Let's Resin UV light, but they come apart so you can use it as a standalone, and it goes up to 5 minutes with just the press of a button. They are going to sit under there for the full 5 minutes until done, and this is what they are looking like. I am fully obsessed. I absolutely love these. I think that top coat has done everything it needed to maximize the wow impact. It definitely magnifies. So if you've ever got a project that looks kind of flat, like these were pretty but they looked kind of flat, giving them a resin top coat, trust me, just brings them to life. Now, this is when I said I'm letting the resin go over the holes. I'm not worried about it because I know it's not going to do much. The holes are so small, you're not going to really do much. You're not going to ruin your pieces. So once you've cured the top, turn them over, grab a wet wipe, wipe the bottom clean, and then cure the back side of your pieces. Trust me, it's so much easier than going around those holes with the UV resin. Now here is where I came a little bit unstuck. Because I'd given them a top coat, it made everything a lot thicker. So it was a lot harder to get those jump rings through those holes because I'd really given them a really chunky top coat. So I did have to go back in with the drill, make the drill holes a little bit bigger to enable me to get my jump rings through. Now the teardrops were originally earrings. However, I love them. I love them so much. I was utterly obsessed with these miniature gardens. I just felt like they had like main character energy. They needed to be on a necklace right where the world can see them and not tucked behind hair, because trust me, if I wear earrings, no one ever knows. My hair covers my ears, and I just felt like these needed to be necklaces. So I did swap the earring attachments out for the rope chain attachments that are in the UV resin kit. And these are decent chains with nice adjustable length clasps on the end. And I mean, I've really only just put these into these packets to give you an idea of what they look like. These are perfect for your craft markets. If you sell on Etsy or if you sell at craft markets, these are the most perfect thing you can sell. Everybody loves a necklace. Everybody loves a keychain and everybody loves an earring, and these just make perfect craft market sales items. But yeah, I've really only put them in these baggies for display purposes to make me look a little bit professional, to make it look like I know what I'm doing, and we all know that is not the case. These are beautiful. The mold itself, stunning. I cannot wait to use the Monstera set, the Monstera ones. Let me know in the comment section down below which ones you prefer, whether you love the main character energy that the necklace brings, or whether you prefer the earrings and what you would do with this mold. Honestly, really enjoyed this one. I have to say as well, something else that made me smile. When we talk about gardens here in the UK, we talk about our entire garden, because I know that in America, I don't know if it's Canada as well, but in the USA for sure, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys call your garden the area where you grow your fruits and vegetables and your edibles and all of those things. Whereas here in the UK, a garden is a garden. As soon as you open the back door, whether it is concrete or just grass, it is a garden. We don't differentiate. Usually we'll say like a vegetable plot, or we'll call it a greenhouse where we grow things like that, but it is still all one garden. I absolutely love nothing more than the language differences between the countries. So if you are wondering why I've just put flowers in the garden, that is why. Here in the UK, it is all just one thing and we don't call it anything different. But yeah, still, I love it. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you all in the next video. Everything that you need for this will be in the description box below. This is a designated sponsored Let's Resin video. See you then.